Hi, good afternoon. As you know, it's been a month that I've been at this institution and I've walked around and observed teachers in your classrooms. I've been looking at some things that we can do to improve the service of our institution. And this is the beginning of a series of workshops where we are going to discuss developmental appropriate practices and best practices to improve on what we are doing so far. The best practices for early childhood development document is the 2008 document, and we're looking at standard 2 in developmental and educational programs, and the age group chosen is 3 to 5, as you know, because we're preschool and that is the age group that we cater to. The whole reason of this workshop is to improve our professional development as well as encourage positive guidance in terms of your teaching students, how best we can go about practicing certain things within the classroom, observations and assessments. And I want that when we give our observations and assessments, they are knowledge-based. The rationale behind the standard is early childhood institutions have comprehensive programs designed to meet the language, physical, cognitive, and socio-emotional, spiritual, cultural, and institutional readiness of the children we serve. What exactly is that? It is an approach to teaching that is grounded in research and development and the learning of young children, as well as it is a broad, overarching concept that pertains to the diverse development of children in the 0 to 8 category. Since we're going to be looking at them, they're found in the best practice document for early childhood development, 2008. And in appropriate practice number 1, early childhood practitioners do not understand the importance of environment on children's learning. Now, as I was walking around, I've seen instances when there are certain things within the classroom that we can add to make them, a bit better. Like there are some classrooms that are not stimulating. Some classrooms don't have little or no playtime where the children do not go out and actually play and have free play opportunities. There's little or no learning stations, which means that I haven't seen, many stations in terms of areas where children can go to and do development on their own. Right, in the best practice for that is early childhood practitioners recognize that the curriculum is embedded in the environment and plan accordingly, use strategies obviously to use our environment to enhance our curriculum. The environments include the materials, activities, arrangements, relationships, and interactions that we as the practitioners provide for these students. I've came up with some activities to help enhance these. Some of them are take some of the classes outside. Instead of having the children always structured in classrooms, sitting behind desks, we can take some of our lessons outside, have the children sit in circles around us, do story reading and different activities, to change the scenery, to change the environment for them. Use the students' artwork and their projects to decorate the walls in the classroom so that they have an opportunity to, see and feel proud of themselves, to build their self-esteem, as well as use workstations. And the example of a workstation would be to create a role play area where they have costumes that they can dress up and change. I'm coming to character where they could pretend to be a fireman, they could pretend to be a baker, different activities such like that to encourage them. So we use the whole environment in the classroom to encourage them to be more imaginative and to have better opportunities for free play. Best practice and appropriate practice, should I say, number 7. It says early child practitioners plan curriculum in a structured, inflexible way. There are no opportunities for they weren't thinking. It's not encouraged in the classroom. For me, I think that formal learning takes place too early. I find that in some classrooms I've visited, there are teachers who actually have children, more concentrated on, okay, we need to know your alphabet, we need to know this. That's actually formal learning. So we're concentrating too much on the formal learning instead of the development of the holistic child. Focus on tasks and not skills. That's another concern of mine, where I find that, as I said before, we are so focused on having the children being able to write the alphabet or being able to understand the sequence of the alphabet before we even have them understand certain things like letter sounds and stuff like that. So we need to go into that more clearly. Activities to do that would be to promote free play. Allow the children to be in individual or even in small groups where they can explore the environment. Best practice number 7 goes on to say early childhood practitioners understand the importance of the emergent curriculum, which develops from children's interests and experiences that are meaningful to them. So having said that, we can go into using beads for the child, which develops the child's fine gross motor skills. As in, we are only a preschool. Yes, we have them coloring and doing stuff like that, but we want to build their fine gross motor skills and a coordination. This activity is great for that. Colored rice in a container, in the case that if we are looking at teaching shapes as opposed to actually teaching the children the shape itself on black and white paper, we can have different shapes and stuff put into the rice and have the children go fetch them. More like a game, have it more interactive, have them, more engaged. Legos and Play-Doh, as you know, that helps with building. They have to do the critical thinking skills to come up with ideas on how should they, if this Lego is going to go here, does this go together, does this one match? So it helps them to develop critical thinking skills. But inappropriate practice, number 3, early childhood practitioners insist on the use of standard English. Then, as I said, observing the classrooms, I've seen children speaking in their native tongue. And I've heard teachers saying then, speak standard English only. You are not allowed to speak like that in here. Or you will hear them constantly interrupting students as they speak to insist that they speak standard English. The best practice for early childhood development 2008, the best practice number 3 says, early childhood practitioners should encourage the use of standard English while respecting the primary language of many Jamaican children. Obviously, we're not Jamaican, but we're using a document that was done in Jamaica, so hence where they reference to Jamaican children. In any case, we have our own dialect. And the whole thing is for us to embrace our culture. I think that we have to understand that we have to teach children where and when. Explain to the students the reasoning behind why not to use the dialect when it's not needed or when not necessary. And also it helps children to understand exactly who they are. For us to be able to use the best practices document standards in terms of instilling it within the classroom, we can encourage the use of our native tongue, our dialect in dramatization and poetry and folk songs. That's the opportunities where they get to use their native tongue. In the case too, like if you're teaching students a subject outside of English and they choose to use dialect, is it really important that we make sure that they use English? Is it more important than getting the children to explain or to share their information? That's something that we have to look at. Inappropriate practice number 8. Early childhood practitioners place limitations on children's play and opportunities and insist that they only play in large groups. This, for me, is a problem because I've gone to the playground, seen children in large lines, in long lines, waiting to use the slide or waiting to use the seesaw and stuff like that. And they're just standing there, just waiting in turn. That's not appropriate for this age group. They need to be able to feel much comfortable going into play part. And, exploring opportunities. The whole play part is really their learning ground. Play is a big part of them. So they need to do that freely. Best practice number 8, which relates to inappropriate practice number 8, it says to promote the early childhood practitioners should promote free play opportunities at the individual and group levels to encourage learning and discovery. So the whole idea is that children should be able to go outside, play, whether it's sand play, whether it is an opportunity for them to try different, let's say you allocated a certain area within the play part. You know that you have a group in your class and you may not be able to necessarily go with one particular child to an apparatus in the play part, but how about do small groups and let them have turns taking turns around the play part, using the different things in the play part. This is just a quote that I got from online. It says, I'm in preschool. I'm not built to sit still. My hands, I can't keep my hands to myself. Take turns, be patient. Stand in the line or keep quiet all the time. I need motion, novelty, adventure, and to engage the world with my whole body. Let me play. Inappropriate practice, number 16. Early childhood practitioners do not take children on field trips or engage community speakers within the classroom. I haven't seen anyone come in. I know that one or two of you have been doing some projects in terms of safety. You could have brought in either a fire service person or, there's no room for that. Best practice 16 states that early childhood practitioners explore the community with the children and invite people to speak to the children about relevant topics. And as I stated, a field trip to the fire station. I know some of you are doing safety within your classroom, and I think that would be a great opportunity not only for the children to experience being in a fire station, but also to see and to be hands-on with the firemen. And also, it also consolidates one of the topics being taught as in people in your community. You can have a career there. We may encourage parents who have different jobs, regardless. It could be a bank manager, it could be a person who works in sanitation. We can invite in our parents and have them come and speak to the children and talk about the jobs that they do. Even if it's a case where we can have them bring in some of the materials that they use at work to show them, so they have a hands-on skills as far as what is being used to perform their jobs. We can also take students out on field trips, a simple trip to the zoo, where we talk about animals. We can talk about domestic animals, and we can also talk about wild animals. So the children get a hands-on experience. Okay, this is what these look like, and have an understanding of not only seeing it within the book, but the experience itself of touching it. Where there's a petting zoo, they can actually touch them, and come back home and have these experiences to talk about. In closing, I like to leave you with a quote by Jean Piaget, which says, the principal goal of education in schools should be creating men and women who are capable of doing things, not simply repeating what other generations have done. With that, I want to encourage you to think of, you can use some of these activities and techniques that I've shared with you today, and let's see if we can bring, some more innovation, some more schools, some more, into our classrooms. Make our learning meaningful as opposed to so structured. Thank you. Here are some of the references used within our presentation. If you care to, you can contact me if you want to have them, and I can share them with you for your perusal, as you go about your day or whatever. You can always look at them.